the government. And the Hungarians, although many of them, they didn't like Jews, they didn't want to see Jewish people killed like that. You see, when they put this law forth, they figured, well, we're going to get rid of the Jews, but they didn't figure they were going to get killed. They thought they were just going to expel them, and they'd end up in the Ukraine, and they'd work and live there. So as soon as word came back that this is what's happening, the Minister of the Interior in Hungary stopped all the deportations.
They have quite a few families from ours also taken away to Poland. We were lucky. My mother was then in Budapest. She was preparing the papers, and we got to know that this was coming. We were in hiding. My father took us away to Sziget. There is his grandmother, only grandmother, and family who helped us to survive through this.
In 1941, I was unfortunately already in the first slave labor camp, but still in Hungarian. That was in a couple of days. We have been first by the border between Poland and Hungarian. But we have seen, so it was with me boys who have seen their parents in the wagons, transported to Kamenets-Podolsk. You know what was there. I'm sure you heard about that place where they was killed. So we didn't believe, but that was always under the pressure of the Germans. That was an excuse to the government, to the Hungarian government. They are, without any permission, settled in Hungarian, because they called this, the Czech Republic was there for 20 years. They just occupied. But this belongs to us, because, for instance, my mother language is Hungarian. But that was a different Hungarian. There wasn't the question, you are a Jew or you are a Christian. It was people.
They were trying to take us away, like they claimed that we weren't citizens of Hungary. They were trying to take us away to Poland, but my father luckily went to Budapest, and he got some papers which showed that we are citizens of Hungary. So we remained there till 1944.
The Hungarian government came out with a law that any Jewish person who hasn't got a Hungarian citizenship has to be sent to Poland. They come from Poland, and they have to be sent to Poland. So we got tipped off. The town manager, which was a very good friend for my father, came over and told my father, what's going on, and we should get away someplace. So we had a chance to take the train, all of us, and we went to Budapest. We left the house, the store, everything open. And we were away for about, I think the whole family, for about 2 months. Now they rounded up all the Jewish people who did not run away, and they took them to Poland, to Kamenets-Podolsk. And one of my aunts was taken from Hust.
They took away my sisters, two sisters and one brother, and my mother. During that early time, my uncle Kratz, Bernie from Le, also Ukraine, they send Ukraine, a local Ukrainian boy to Kamenets-Podolsky to try to bring back my sister and my mother and my brother if it's possible. Now, naturally, this man find my mother and want her to bring back, but she could not take the road because of her age and because of her, she was not very well. But she encouraged my sister to go. So he and my sister, they came back through the wilderness to the hills, and it was in the winter, and all of a sudden one morning she came back to Sziget, Marmara Sziget, where my grandfather lived, Schreiter, he lived there, and she came back in a terrible condition. Naturally, we were afraid to keep her there in Sziget. They sent her away to Le, to the Kratz, to her uncle Kratz, and there she stayed there for a while.
My father got in touch with one of the pilots in Budapest who flew that way every week with mail to Poland. And somehow he got so friendly with this guy that he could take packages to my aunt with all kinds of food and medicine and that stuff. And then, you know, after a week or months, one of the daughters was smuggled out from Kamenets-Podolsk back to us, but the mother and the other child, the other daughter, was still there in Kamenets-Podolsk, and all of a sudden we heard that they took them away somewhere else in a camp. But the truth was, which we found out after the war, that they were killed, all of them, and thrown into that river there.
And my uncle tried to find a Hungarian officer for money, naturally, to bribe him, and he should go up and see what was with my mother. The first time he find her, but the second time the neighbors used to say that he took it away, they ended up, and unfortunately, all the group which was living there, all the Jews, they killed them one by one. It's the same thing with Babi Yar. The Ukrainian poet, he condemned the situation, and he tried to bring up to the world how kind of a big tragedy has happened that for the people who the only reason was that they were Jews.
So they shot all these Jews.
They shot them, all those Jews, all of them. They shot them one by one. Not even one could save themselves from that situation.
I stayed in Budapest already, and my older sister stayed in Budapest. We didn't want to go back already. And I got a job as a dental technician, and I was working there, and I supported myself, and my sister was working also as a seamstress. And she was supporting herself too.
They took all the Jewish boys and girls who were born in that time 20 years old, between 20 and 45 years old or 50, to labor camp. So I myself also were taken away in labor camp without any protection, without any clothing to be able to go with clothes, if it's nothing. We took away there. And we were going, some of them went to Ukraine to work with, for the Hungarian army, and I went away to Hungary. After the Donau, we built a military camp, an army camp. I was working there until close to the end,